Vanessa the Crafty Gemini, and in this video tutorial I'm going to teach you how to make a lip balm cozy, but you can use it for so many different things. A quick reminder that if you enjoy what you see and you like my teaching style, you should subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the button, and that way you'll ensure that you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Now let's go over the supplies we'll need so we can start making our project. You'll need just two different fabrics, one for the exterior, the other for the lining. The exterior piece should have a matching piece of woven fusible interfacing cut to the same size, which is 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, and then our little lining piece should measure only 5.5 inches by 4.5. Aside from that, a working sewing machine, your basic supplies, and as usual, something to mark, measure, and cut your fabric. First step is to fuse your exterior fabric to the woven fusible interfacing. Make sure that the adhesive is touching the wrong side of your fabric, and then press with your iron following the manufacturer's instructions. Now let's fold this in half this way to find the center on one of the short sides so that we can cut a curve. So I mark it there. Fold it back on itself, and I like to freehand these curves, but you can mark or measure with a plate or saucer. I come in flat on the flush side of the fabric, and then I just slightly curve to cut away the corner and finish off on the edge here also. Then I'll take this piece and use it as a template to cut my lining. Orient it the same way, and then I'm matching it up flush at the top, the bottom, and all the way up so that the curve is flush with the side of the lining fabric right here, and that way I know exactly what I need to trim away from the corners. Now let's finish off both of the straight, flat, short sides of both of these pieces. Grab your iron. We're going to flip each one so pretty side is face down, and then I'm just going to fold this under just 1/4 inch. Now let's take these over to the sewing machine, and we're going to top stitch to hold those folds back. These are top stitched and pressed. Now let's make some fold lines. To the exterior fabric, I want you to orient it so the flat side is on your left-hand side, at least if you're right-handed. And then we're going to measure 2 inches up, and then 2 inches from that line and 2 inches from that one. So you're going to draw 3 lines, each 2 inches apart. So the first one is 2 inches up from that folded hemmed edge. Mark it. Then you go 2 inches over from that one. So now the bottom here should be at 4 inches. And for the last line, this bottom folded hemmed edge here should be at 6 inches. So from here to here, here to here, and then one more line. Now I want you to pinch the exterior fabric at the ends of the first line, and you're going to grab them and bring them up to meet the third line that you drew. Does that make sense? So this one needs to touch this one. And so what this line then represents is the fold right here. Okay? So grab the first one, pinch it on the ends, fold it to reach the last line there, and then we'll press it into place to hold those creases. Then grab your lining fabric and flip it so both of these are pretty sides touching, and everything should match up perfectly like this. Both of your finished edges should be down here, and line everything up around the curve. You can place some pins or clips, and let's head over to the sewing machine. Now we're going to use 1/4 inch seam allowance, and we're only going to sew from the flat edge, so right here, back stitching, coming around the curve and stopping on the other end. This part here you want to leave open, and that should be where both of your finished edges are. Now because we have a curve, we need to clip this to allow the curve to come out and be pressed a little bit flatter when we flip it right side out. So you can take some sharp scissors and just cut notches in here individually like this to remove some of the bulk. And the key thing here is to go as close as you can to the stitch line without cutting through the actual stitches. Of course, if you've been watching my videos, you know I love to use my pinking shears for this as a quicker way to finish. So if you have pinking shears, just use them nice and close to the seam. Just around the curve is fine. And now for the magic. Reach in here between the pretty sides of the fabric. So not right here, okay, that's the interfacing side, but right here. Put your fingers in there and flip the whole thing right side out. And I like to run my fingernail inside to get all of that lining fabric out. Now let's give this a quick press. And then you're going to come in here where this kind of little pocket is formed in the exterior fabric. And I want you to put thumbs in the corners, pinch here with your pointers, and flip it out. Push out all those corners, and then give it another press. Now, isn't that a fun way to finish? Down here, you don't have any raw edges because we finished both of those flat edges, and this is going to be great. So now all we have left to do is to attach a closure here. You can use hook and loop tape or plastic snaps like I will use. For this part, you'll need a snap plier kit, which includes the hand press, the awl to make your holes, and then 2 end caps and a male and a female end for your snap. Now, if we fold this flap down, if you still have the center mark there when we did the curve, you can measure off of there. That way is an easy way to check and make sure that it's centered. So I'm just going to make a hole about 1/2 inch up from that edge at the center. Place an end cap on the pretty side of your exterior. Push the little prong thing through, and then I'll put the male end of my snap on here, and then use whatever manufacturer's instructions for the kit that you purchased to set that in place. And I always include a link on where you can find the stuff that I use, so if you're looking for a snap kit, you check the description box below. Now we'll close this up, and that way I know that this is sticking out, so it's going to make a mark on my fabric. So I close it, and I just press down. I have a little indentation there, and right in the center of it, I'll poke my other hole. Now on this end, you want to place the end cap on the inside of the pocket so that the female end is exposed and on the outside for a proper closure. So put these there and install with the pliers. And there you have it. That is day 3 of my 12 days of last-minute DIY gifts. This little one has so many different uses. I think you're going to be cranking them out by the dozens. Lip balm, lip gloss, lipstick, even hand lotion tubes, or travel-sized toothpaste tubes. So those are just some of the options I can think of. If you have a different idea on how else you can use this Lip Balm Cozy, leave me a comment below. I'm sure we'd all love to hear everyone else's ideas. Now, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your crafty friends on the different social media sites or even in your local sewing and quilting groups. That would be great. Now, I'll be back tomorrow with day 4 of my 12 days of last-minute DIY gifts, and I hope to see you there. Bye.